You really believe that? That the only thing I want to do with my tongue is put it in your butt. But you won't even ask me where my favorite place to put my tongue is. Is that such a hard thing to ask? If you're wondering, the answer really is not for your ears.
Taylor, come on, man.
Because that was just an example of what my word creation is going to be for today. You will not get any more information on that fictional conversation. And what it's going to be describing is when you say a word back to back and there is no word in between them. Sometimes there can be punctuation, not always, but you end up saying the same word or at least the same sound of a word. It comes up when I'm working and I notice it when I write it up in text. I'm like, oh, it's kind of awkward that I said that back to back. And it is possible that this is an original thought and there's already a name for this, but I don't think it's going to top what my name is for it anyway. Because they are kind of strange when you feel like you have to say the same word twice and it's not like you're stuttering or tripping up like a lot of people might intuitively think in that scenario, but a lot of times it's actually the most logical thing to say is that word twice in a row. And I would like to go through the hilarious gobbo jabbo that my mind went through to name this word. And it happened super rapidly. Like I was just getting out of the shower and I think I came up with my original idea in like 6 seconds. This is how it went. Okay, so the word's about going back to back. What do we know about back to back? All right, well, I mean, there's Drake, and then like every grandma wants you to go back to back for whatever reason. What's the equivalent of Drake's grandmother? A Jewish Canadian Jewish grandma is babushka, and then Canadians always say, eh? Babushke? Bushke. We got it. That's really how the thought process went, but it was maybe even faster than that because I wasn't audibly speaking it. Problem is, babushka actually is a Russian grandmother, so I needed to make a slight adjustment with that idea. So a Jewish grandmother, in Yiddish I believe is that language for Judaism, is Babi. And I think that's how it's pronounced, but it's spelled more like you would expect it to be like booby, which is the sound I tried to take from that. And then, since Canadians are always saying "eh" at the end of stuff, we're taking that, so it's going to be Boobay. So really, you can just think of it as like Michael Bublé, but you're just chopping out an L out of his last name. And if this happens to you, it's a Boobay. And there was a lot of different spellings that I could have gone for. I really feel like the most clear one is the one that I chose. It's really just like the word boob and then AY for the A sound. And it's maybe not as close to the exact spelling of what would be like a Jewish grandma or A, but like it's gonna be like very apparent how to pronounce this word, and I feel like it's good to have intuitive pronunciation for a word that you're creating. So we got Boobay, and that word is just fun as hell to say. Not sure how often this is going to prop up with people in conversation a lot. Even for me, it's fairly rare, but it is something I do notice from time to time, so I want to make a word for it. Now let's hop on over to our song and video of the day. Song of the day is Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani and Akon. Just a classic pop hit. Again, I can say pop in this context. It is not the same as Yum Do, and that word was just adjusted, and so pop does still have some usages in it, just not that one. But I'm sure basically everyone's pretty familiar with ooh, wee-oo. So I don't feel like I have to talk with this one too much more, but I will be making a very short video just kind of memeing on this for a little bit. And again, that's another word I can say, short, just the plural version is where I would be in trouble, which is now thyco. Yeah, this shit's getting complicated, I'm aware. Then the video of the day is something that I found in like my Watch Later playlist that I never really look at from 4 years ago. And it's Joey Diaz telling a story about him auditioning for How I Met Your Mother on the Joe Rogan Experience. And yeah, I know Joe Rogan and his podcast is really polarizing for people for some reason at this point. Like, people really lose their shit if they think that you watch it regularly. It's actually been several years since I've really watched him at all, but I don't know, there was a lot of funny stuff that he did and a lot of great guests. And Joey Diaz is a hilarious human being, and this story is super exemplary of that and just shows like how outrageous confidence and being able to think outside of the box, be comfortable doing things that most people aren't, will really get you places and open up new opportunities that other people just don't really have. Also, it's just funny as hell hearing about this stuff, so it's great. And that will do it for the Daily 2 Piece Suit.